Hi, welcome back to my channel, Fabulously Frugal and Fancy. I'm Brandy. Today's video is some spring crafts, very easy to do, a refresh on a wreath, and some other very easy spring craft DIYs for you to check out. So let's go make something fabulous and I'll catch you at the end. All right, so this first project here, I got this wood round from Hobby Lobby, and I'm just taking some paints here, different colors. I used some pinks, some greens, like a creamy white for the background. And you know, these kinds of things here, they're just like coloring in a coloring book. I enjoy it. So I didn't make you watch me paint the whole thing. Here I just grabbed some flowers out of my stash. You can see my dog over there. She's got to sniff around and see what's in every bag. She's adorable. She's always my little helper. I'm just placing some of the flowers over the tops of the wooden flowers just to give it a little bit of dimension and a little bit more, I don't know, spring vibrancy. I really love flowers. I love everything spring. And I just picked the flowers that kind of covered those areas. I didn't worry about them matching exactly because it would just give it a little bit more depth. And so I cut the backs of the flowers off as flat as you can without, you have to be careful because if you go too flat, then the flower petals come apart. And I'm just picking some of the leaves off of here, off of that plant there. And then I take some of these other leaves. These were very large, so I just cut some down so I could have the greenery, you know, around the area with the flowers over top. I just trimmed some of them. Some of them are a little too big. They stick out a little too far, and I didn't want them to cover the words. This is all here. This is all just personal preference. Whatever colors you want to paint these things. These little cutout wood designs that come from Hobby Lobby, these signs, they make it very easy to craft. You don't have to have any, you know, real, people say they don't have any crafting talent. These are the kinds of things that, like I said, it's just like coloring in a coloring book. You can do it with paint. You can do it with paint markers. You could even do it with regular markers if you wanted. And I glued flowers on the outside. So I'm just taking my time going around where the flowers are. And you don't even have to add the flowers. If, again, this is all personal preference, how you want it to look. Let it match your design in your house. As you can see, I kind of place everything certain places first, and then I glue everything down. I take this ribbon that I also got at Hobby Lobby, I believe. It was in the spring section, so it was on sale, of course. And I just thought it was very pretty. Just very springy. It just has the green leaves and the pink flowers. It's very thick. It's a very thick, almost like a burlap type fabric. And I doubled it up because the back is not printed. And then I take a zip tie. I just do the awareness ribbon and then scrunch it together. But because this is so thick and I doubled it up, it was a little difficult to kind of scrunch it all together. But I just attach it to the hanger, to the top of the hanger. Because in where I'm hanging this, I'm using a command hook that is already there. And I don't really want the command hook to show. So I put this big bow at the top. And I just kind of fluff it out. And that is it to this DIY. This is very easy. You just cut off the back of that. And then I take one small piece of the ribbon, wrap it around to cover that zip tie. Just the same ribbon. You could use something different, or you could put a flower there in the middle, whatever you choose to do. But because I'm using that to hang on the hook, I didn't think a flower would fit. And then here it is hanging on the wall. My bow is a little crooked hanging here like that. Sorry, the glare on this picture. I used the flash and it, it just was a little much. Now I'm using that same ribbon and this wine bottle, this just saving this from the trash. The wine bottle is already pink and I just want to cover that top part here, just making a little vase. And so I just take the wide ribbon, wrap it around, glue it down, and that's all that I do to this one, except just adding in some flowers. I have a stash here in this cardboard container, and I'm just, kind of putting some flowers together to see, just trying some different ones, see how they look in there. But that's all. I just made a little vase out of this. I didn't like how that one looked, so I took that out. You just have to play with it and get it to be how you want it to look. It's pretty simple, but I just wanted you to see me make the vase, turn this wine bottle just into a simple vase, and I'll show you how I decorated that in just a moment. I just put it below that sign on my coffee bar. And that is it to that. That is such a simple, easy DIY. Taking a bottle, you can do it to a jar, anything, and here it is on my coffee bar with the sign above it. Just adds a little bit of spring. Okay, here I've got my nephew. He wanted to do a craft, and so I'm showing you everything that we're using. We make 2 of these. We're using the cloches from the Dollar Tree. These little candlesticks came from Hobby Lobby in a pack. And he wants to make these little rose things with the gold butterflies. His grandmother recently passed away, and her name was Rose, and she loved butterflies. And he had seen in some magazine one of the forever roses, and I told him we could just make some. And so he wanted to make one for him and his mom. I'm using the Goo Gone to remove the stickers. Those stickers do not remove easily. You just have to keep fighting with it and use the Goo Gone. But he's painting those candlesticks green, and it's kind of a shimmery green. And I'm using Goo Gone to remove that. Sometimes it's nice to have a little bit of help and somebody else doing some of the stuff. He's trying to blow on it and dry it, and but he paints both of those candlesticks green. And I'm just using my scraper there and my Goo Gone to get rid of the rest of the sticker. Again, those stickers, I don't understand why they do those paper type stickers that just never want to come off, especially on clear plastic. But if you know, if you buy things at Dollar Tree, you just have to kind of accept you're going to have to do that. Sorry, my dog is here underneath of my feet, and I'm hoping she's not bumping the table here, because that could affect my sound. But she's she just loves to be here where I'm at working. Whatever I'm doing, she's got to be right here with me, which is great. I love my Mo girl. All right, so again, he's just finishing painting those. Sorry I left so much of this in. He was excited to get to make a video with me, and I always love to have helpers. And this craft is I'm showing you too, is very easy to do this kind of a craft with a kid. These are kid-friendly crafts that you can do easily. These little cloches make great little decorations for their rooms. You can take little things that they like and kind of glue them in there with them. And I'm just showing him how to use the heat gun that I have to kind of dry the paint a little bit faster. All right, so the next step here is just to kind of glue it all together. I was going to paint these bases gold, but this stuff was like nothing would paint on here. It was so slick and so shiny that I could not get any paint to stick. I couldn't get the wax stuff to stick to it either. I thought that would work. So I just left them brown, and that's perfectly fine. If it was cold and rainy and I could not go outside and spray paint, I would have tried some spray paint. This paint works really well on just about everything. but not on this plastic. I don't know what kind of coating this plastic in particular had, because I've painted a lot of other things and never had a problem. But these little gold stickers, these my sister gave me. I believe she said she got these at Temu, but I could be totally mistaken. I'm not sure where she got these, to be honest with you. But I put them on the inside of the cloche, and he wanted the same ones on each one, so I picked two of the same. And I just kind of stuck them up there in my fingers. And I'm trying to show you there. It's a little hard to see with the glare, but I put them on the inside of the cloche so you could see them. And then the yellow foam roses I have left over from a baby shower I did a long time ago. And I still reuse them. The flowers, I try to keep all of the flowers that, I use. These small little finial type things came in a pack from Hobby Lobby, and I use those on the top. I do use the gold, it's kind of like a gilding wax. I just rub it all over the tops of those. Those are little wooden finials. Again, those came from Hobby Lobby. And I'm just kind of rubbing the gold all over them. I use my finger with this stuff. It comes off pretty easily. It doesn't stain too badly. As you can see, my nephew there, he's just trying to get the paint all off his fingers now. I told him it's okay. We're messy in this craft room. When you're painting, you make a mess. You always do. So, especially if you're letting kids paint, just let them have fun. So we are putting the little candlestick down, deciding how we want it on here. And I'm doing the hot glue. My hot glue gun is a high temp hot glue gun. It is not a low temp. It is not safe for adults half the time, much less safe for kids. So I told him I'd do the gluing. And I just placed that right there in the center, and then I put the yellow rose right on top. And these are foam roses, just like you can get at the Dollar Tree. You could use the ones from Dollar Tree. Those come out different times. Then I take the little finial and I put it right on the top. In the center there's a little like divot in the plastic, so it's easy to find the top of that there. I'm just gluing the candlestick upside down to the bottom of the cloche. Then I glue the rose on the top of that. And that is it for this craft. I think these turned out very cute. He was very happy with how it turned out. It's a little difficult to see in the picture the gold butterfly in the background. I tried to use a dark background so you could see everything. All right, here I've got this wreath, and this is a wreath that we've had in the past. And I just wanted to freshen it up a little bit. It's looking a little, ragged. It's kind of, some of the flowers had fallen off. You can see those same yellow roses that I used. I glued those there last year. And I really like the blue and the yellow together. It just looks very bright and springy. And it matches the outside of our house with the yellow. So I really wanted to just kind of bring this back to life a little bit. I'm sorry there's a long delay here in the beginning. I'm not sure how that ended up in there, but I will take this time to ask you to please subscribe to my channel. I am trying to reach 1,000 subscribers before my birthday, which is in May. I would really love to get there. I'm over 700 now, so it's very doable. We can do it if you would like to subscribe to my channel. And please watch this video through to the end. This video in particular, there is a craft at the end that I was really excited to try, and it turned out so cute, and I hope that you'll stick around and watch to the very end so you can see that craft as well. So I'm just taking some of the flowers that they were kind of in there and kind of falling out. I'm just kind of placing things, and then I'm taking some more blue and yellow. These flowers came from the Dollar Tree. I'm sure that you've seen them yourself, and I'm just cutting everything apart and kind of piling it in the middle. Some blue, some yellow. And then I have some of these little blue berries They're like really light blue. I think they came from like Easter stuff a few years ago at Dollar Tree. I'm not sure if they have them this year. Haven't been in there to look. But I wanted to add those in too, just to give it a little different dimension. The wreath originally only had the white flowers, and I just really wanted to, bring this wreath back to life. Wreaths can be very expensive, as you know, and if you have a wreath that is for a season, but you're not as happy with it, maybe it's not as full, like this one's not as full, just take some more flowers. You can get them at the Dollar Tree. You don't have to spend a lot on flowers. All of these so far that I've been cutting up have come from the Dollar Tree. The yellow roses that are already in there came from, I believe, came from Amazon a long time ago. Now this is a grapevine wreath, so a lot of these flowers I can just kind of stick in. I'm kind of weaving them in between the grapevine and the back, so I don't have to like glue them in. Some aren't as stable, so I do come back and glue a lot of those in. And I stand up so I can see this. I just want to do it even all the way around. You just want to kind of add whatever flowers you've chosen. You just kind of want to make them evenly dispersed around the wreath. You don't want to leave any spot without a specific color or specific texture. You just want to kind of make it even all the way around. Now, saying that, I do not measure anything. I just do this all by eye. So if you're looking at it and you think, oh, there's an empty spot, oh, there's too much yellow here, or there's too much blue here, move it to make yourself happy. These wreaths, any kind of floral arrangement is all done by your eye. You just have to look at it and see what looks good to you. And there's art to it. Some people have a lot of rules that they follow and so forth. I've tried to follow some of the rules, but for me, I just try to make it evenly spaced. I try to put, different colors around different colors, and I'm just filling in all the gaps. This one was a lot more sparse than I like. I like a very full wreath, with lots of color. Some of these white flowers were very wispy on here, like some of them stick out a little far. So I did some of that with the berries. I kind of stuck them to where they're sticking inside or sticking outside. But again, you just have to go by what looks good for you. Here I'm adding some hot glue to this one because it wasn't staying where it was supposed to be, and that's it. And then here it is hanging on my door. I love, again, the bright colors. It really stands out on this black door that we have. And I just really like how this one turned out. You can do something with one that is extra, with one that you already have. All right, here is our last DIY. And this this is inspired by Heidi Samble. She has a YouTube channel, Heidi Samble DIY. And she made a bird cage out of these 2 football wreath forms. And so I was like, wow, that's really cute. I want to try it. So I got 2 of the wreath forms. Actually, I had 2. And I used my wire snips here and I cut off the bottom. Actually, I cut off some, and then my hands are not strong enough, so I took it out and let somebody else cut it for me. And then I just used some zip ties. Now, my 2 football wreath forms were not exact. They were not the same exact shape or anything. And the zip ties do kind of show a little bit after I paint it all, but that's okay. They just almost look like little hinges on the bird cage. But I do a couple at the top, up at the very top, and then I do, some down the sides. Just again, making it as tight and even as possible to where I have to kind of keep reshaping it a little bit, and then the zip ties really do hold it into place because the wire is pretty flexible. So if they don't match up perfectly, that's okay. And then at the bottom, I still had like a little sharp, little ridges. They weren't sharp, but they were, they didn't look the prettiest. So I do cover that in a little while. And there's my dog again, Mo. She just, like I said, she likes to be down here with me. She's down here with me right now. Now she's laying down right beside my chair. And I'm just then using my tin snips to cut the excess off. These are really thick zip ties. So I couldn't cut them with scissors. They were really thick plastics. So then I'm just trying to see what I'm doing here. All right, so I have this candlestick from Dollar Tree and this little wood round. And I'm using some E6000 to just attach them. And I had measured and drawn the circle on the bottom already because I know that I can't just look at that and find the right shape. Then I use some of this edge banding. I measured around the base of the bird cage, and then I cut this. This is pretty wide, so I do trim it down and cut it in half, and so that piece there I get 2 pieces out of. Because you can cut this stuff with scissors. It's very thin, like wooden ribbon. It's used for banding the edge of plywood, but it's great for crafting. So I just take it around here. I do use some of those clamps from Dollar Tree. I'm gluing it down and clamping it so that it stays in place. It doesn't fit it perfectly because you're working on something round. Sometimes you kind of have to leave a little bit of a gap, but I got it to fit as best as I could, and it looks really good in the end. So I just add glue around, all the way around, and then I go to the other side and I overlap the wood onto the wood that's already attached there. And then I clamp it, glue it all the way around. And I just let the hot glue set up there for a few minutes with the clamps on, because once the glue dries, it is really good. Then I have these, I don't know what size they are, half wood beads. And I'm going to glue those all the way around the rim of this. Sorry, I just need to take a little drink of water. And I'm picking through my bin here because my half beads are all different sizes, so I'm picking out several of the same size so that I have them there easily. I'm trying to twist the zip ties around, but that's okay. And then I take one of these little finials that I used in the last DIY also, and I'm kind of gluing it to the top there. And then I go underneath and just kind of pile on some glue up in there just so that it holds it in place. Then I take the half wood beads and I just glue them all around that band on the bottom. This covers up where there's little nubs where we cut off the rest of the wreath form. This hides those and it just gives it kind of a finished look. You really don't have to do this if you don't want to, because when this is all said and done, you barely see this at all because it's covered. The flowers inside that I put inside are really covered, so you really don't see it as much. But I wanted it to have kind of a finished edge down here at the bottom of the bird cage. And I just go all the way around that wood ribbon, that edge banding there. This roll of edge banding, I've used it for projects in the past. It was not very expensive for this whole roll, and as you can see, I still have a ton left. So this will go really far if you're using it for crafting. And you know, sometimes things can be really expensive when you buy them in the craft world, but this is not really necessarily made for crafts. It's made for like a construction type thing, because this is made to band the edge of plywood. Excuse me, I'm sorry. So it is a lot cheaper than, you know, like if you were to buy ribbon of any kind to go around the bottom. And then I'm just going underneath and kind of adding on some extra glue because there are a couple of gaps, like I said, in where the wood and the wire actually meet. So I'm just kind of piling in some excess hot glue there to make sure all the gaps are filled so that it just stays on there. And then I took the top piece and my base and I took everything outside and I spray painted it with white spray paint. It was kind of a shiny white that I had, and that's what I used. I used what I had. And then I had this little wood bead garland from Dollar Tree, and I'm taking some of the birds off of the garland. And then I had one plan in mind and it didn't go the way. These were the only birds I had in my stash. I didn't want to spend any money, so I added a little bit of water and a little bit of this kind of an aqua blue color, maybe a teal color, because I wanted some like pretty spring colored birds. And I just kind of stain it. You can see there's like a cutout like where the wings are. It's like a little burned, engraved type area. So when instead of just painting this, because I added the water, it's almost like a stain. And then you can still see the details on the birds, which I kind of wanted. I wanted to be able to see the details on the birds. But you could use one of those birds with like actual feathers in this. I didn't have one in my stash, and this is what I had in my stash, so I was using the wooden birds. All right, so it's on its base, and it's a little hard to see here what I'm doing, but I put some floral foam on the bottom of the, on the base there, and I glued that down. And then I make the mistake of adding my flowers first, which I'll show you in just a minute. It was not a good idea. I have to take them off, but I just have a bag full of various flowers that I've used in previous DIYs. Again, once I cut them apart, they end up in these bags in my storage, so they're separated by colors, and I'm just kind of picking out some that I like, and then I'm cutting them apart, cutting the stems very small. And these flowers were kind of on a long grass. I didn't want them to be that long, so just cutting down all my stems really short. Some of these flowers came from Walmart. Some of these flowers came from Dollar Tree. Some of these flowers came from Temu, the small purple ones. Some of them came from maybe even Michael's. Some of these might be Michael's flowers. I get flowers all over the place. If they are on sale somewhere, that's where I'll buy them. With me, it's just what looks pretty and what is the best deal. So if they're full price at Michael's or something, then those are not the ones I'm buying. But when they go on sale, I do tend to buy a lot of them. So these larger pieces I'm putting in first, then I'm filling it in with some of the grass type pieces, and then just some of these smaller florals here, just kind of filling in the gaps. I'm using some purples, some pinks, lots of greenery here. But the mistake I made was I put all of the flowers in first, and then when I tried to fit the bird cage over it, I couldn't fit the bird cage down over it because it does have a smaller base. So then I had to, but I left this in. I wanted you to see my mistake. So I couldn't get them on there, so that I did take the birds and I glued them to one of the stems I had cut off from the flowers. I had it laying right there on my table. I hadn't thrown it away yet, so I just used that. And then I placed the stem in between the two birds, and I just kind of stick it down in there. But then I have to take off a lot of the flowers and put them on after, because they were not, I couldn't get them to fit this way. So learn from my mistake. Do put the bird cage on first, and then put all your flowers along the sides. Now the top part I was able to leave in, and still just had to squish a little bit, and then kind of refix it, and then put my flowers in, and then kind of push the leaves in around the spokes and just kind of play with it that way, because I couldn't get it over the other direction. Some of the flowers kind of stick out a little bit. Again, the flower arrangement, the floral arrangements here, it's all how you want it to look. What do you want to see? What do you not want to see? I don't want to see any of the floral foam, so I fill in all the gaps. I'm using different greenery, different flowers. I want this to look very springy, very wild, very, what you would see in nature, except for the wooden bird. But here it is. And here it is. Just, I have this little display thing that'll spin it around, and I wanted you to see it from all angles. You can still kind of see the wood beads at the bottom. I'm glad I did them, but it's not necessary. If you have a little bit more florals, you can cover that if you don't want to add that wooden trim to the bottom. Like I said, you can see the zip ties. They are very big, but they almost look like the braces that hold. Well, I hope that you liked those DIYs. I enjoyed making them. I am very excited for spring to be here. It is beautiful out right now. It is about 60 degrees. It is sunny. It is springtime here, even though we may have another flash of winter here in Massachusetts, but hopefully spring is where you are and hopefully it sticks around. This year, we don't know. It usually does not come this early here in Massachusetts, so we are loving the weather right now, but not expecting it to stay this way. But spring crafts are fun to do. They are easy. These Well, I hope that you enjoyed those spring crafts. They were easy DIYs. I know I just wanted to do some simple ones for you so you could enjoy your spring DIY as well. So if you Well, I hope that you enjoyed those DIYs. I enjoyed making them and sharing them with you. I want to welcome all new subscribers. I've got several new subscribers lately. I'm so excited for you to join our fabulous friends group here. It's just amazing. I really enjoyed chatting and the comments below. Please leave some comments below today. Let me know what you think of these DIYs. Let me know which one was your favorite. And until next time, I hope you have a blessed day. Bye.